Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey there, hi there, ho there, this is Ralph Hayes Jr., RH Jr., Reality Check, coming to you live over the internet through a series of tubes known as the boob tube of YouTube, bringing you another contribution to the debris littering the sides of the information superhighway, another little thing I like to call Spleen Squeezins. One, two, three, four. Eli and T-Mug, you just waiting there, just lurking, just boom on there. It's making me, these days I'm starting to wonder how many of the people who are logging on immediately just have automated setup that their computer logs on whether they're there or not. Is that real rain? Is that real or what rain? What rain? Have I got rain? Have I got rain playing in my background? No, that what I've got in the background is a fan. It's a fan because it's kind of warm here right now. I got a fan and an air conditioner going, and I really need to re-hang up the drape that divided this room, sealed it off, so that But I hate that because I have to, it's a strain getting the crap up there. But anyway, no, there's no rain. No rain for a change. It's been a really soggy month. I'm going to try and be diligent here, and I'm going to be working on some artwork, a commission. A fellow wanted a picture of Shen and Lei Ling from my fan fiction, and it just won't soar, darn it! It's fighting me every step of the way. It's not opening that one. What is it opening that one? There we go. It's terrible. It really is. It just doesn't work. It's just not happening. It's some days, some drawings, boom, they just spring to life. Others, they just lie there on the slab and refuse to move. And this is just it's a passable sketch, but it's just not saying it's just not got that vitality, It doesn't have it, whatever it may happen to be. I'll probably keep chopping away at it until I get something passable. But I'm really displeased with it, and I'm never going to be happy with it, no matter how much I work at it. Lei Ling is supposed to be a red panda, while Shen is more, traditional black and white panda. Traditional, but yeah. While he is a Pandaren monk, martial artist, is in World of Warcraft, basically martial artist. She is a shaman. In World of Warcraft terms, it basically means that fire, earthquakes, lightning, summoning large elemental fire beings and wind monsters and that kind of thing. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk to, I've seen. Let's see. Got it's a furry kind of day. I've been thinking about two or three different things, two or three different shows. I've been thinking about Beastars, which is all the rage these days, Zootopia, and a new show which is just hitting the market. It's only 12 episodes long, which is a crying shame from what I've seen, called Brand New Animal. I haven't been able to watch Brand New Animal yet, but I've managed to see some clips of it and to read a synopsis of it. The general plot, so on and so forth. So I've got a general idea. I can critique, the general topic I want to talk about. I can discuss. So I'm not just talking through my hat here. And oh, well, okay. We all know about Zootopia. It's about Judy Hopps and Judy Hopps the rabbit and Nick Wilde the fox, and how Judy Hopps wants to be a cop more than anything, and she chases her dream all the way to the big city of Zootopia, where she meets Nick, and she gets tangled up in this big plot, this big conspiracy. And and of course she and Nick save the day, etc. It's a buddy cop movie basically. And B-Stars is there are some details of it. Basically, it's a romance between a bunny rabbit and a wolf, and there's all sorts of they have underground predators and an underground meat market, and the predators are still, despite the fact that they live in a 21st century civilization, somehow they've managed to let the predators keep on being predators. Or rather, the predators have only gone so far as to move their cannibalism to an underground market. And the new one, brand new animal. It's an entirely different world. There are humans and there are beastmen, and there's discrimination against the beastmen, so much that the beastmen all went off and made a city of their own that is a sanctuary for them. And the protagonist was born human. And suddenly one day she up and turns into a raccoon girl, which makes her a target of every bigot in the human city. So she flees to this, promised land, Anima City. Where she'll be safe. And she gets hooked up with this wolf guy who basically becomes her protector, because the beast men aren't particularly comfortable with the idea of a beastman who had formerly been human, because this has never happened before. And it also turns out that her friend is one of these transformed beastmen who has become the figurehead for a cult that the beastmen are following. And all, cue the chaos, Anyway. Brand New Animal is it's a short series. It's only 12 episodes long. And I think really it's really supposed to be. I'm hoping they're planning on making a longer series out of it, a longer running show out of it, because people have seen it complain that basically 12 episodes is just not enough for them to wrap everything up in. Anyway, I gotta say, let me summarize. All three of these shows I've just described, Zootopia, B-Stars, Zootopia is the best of three, but Zootopia, B-Stars, and Brand New Animal. I will summarize and say that, generally speaking, they would be so much better if the people that wrote the damn things actually cracked open a biology textbook once in a while, studied a little zoology, read up on, caught a few dozen episodes of Animal Planet, something. Because they all play into some very, they all have the same general problem, is that they play into cliches and stereotypes, and the people around them obviously don't know a damn thing about nature. Okay, they all, now I'm going to I'll say I'm going to withhold judgment on that point on Brand New Animal, because I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen the synopsis and a couple of clips of the episodes, so I'm not going to pass judgment just yet on that point. But the other two, serious problem. You see, okay, the pivotal conflict in both Beastars and Zootopia is predator versus prey, right? And the assumption is that you go by Zootopia, and watch Judy's school play, where she talks about the meek, helpless prey and the ruthless predators. Okay, there are so many ways that's a grotesque oversimplification of nature. You know what I'm saying? You say, oh well, it's just a children's show. And children watch it and they walk away with their early perceptions of what nature is like, formed in part by shows like this. It's a little bit more of a problem than you'd like to think. It wasn't that long ago that people who got their entire perception of what wolves were like from Little Red Riding Hood were going out and exterminating wolves anywhere they saw them. And they nearly threw the ecosystem completely out of whack. So yeah, it's a little bit of a problem. First off, predator versus prey is an oversimplification. You've got the entire food chain, the food web, if you will, where you have plants and herbivores. You have omnivores. You have omnivores. You have low tier predators, mid tier predators, apex predators. You see where I'm going with this? It's even Judy Hopps' society is a really ridiculous oversimplification. A raccoon is an omnivore. Where would it be? Meek prey or vicious predator? Where does Mr. Raccoon go? What about scavengers? What about and so on and so forth. And secondly, the perception of meek, helpless prey. Some of the most dangerous animals on Earth are herbivores. I keep bringing this up. The animal that has killed the animal that kills the most human beings annually in Africa isn't the lion. It isn't the alligators. It isn't the. It's the hippo. The hippo, yes, the hippo, the circus fat man of the animal kingdom. And the whole thing where predator versus prey is still a social issue. The second big problem is that, both with Beastars and with Zootopia, is that uh, this is supposed to be a 21st century society, and yet carnivore versus herbivore is still an issue. Any civilization where cannibalism, even an underground or black market or anything, where it was acceptable, where any civilization where cannibalism takes place, is on the brink of collapse. It wouldn't get past the Stone Age. The best you could hope for is a bloody Aztec civilization, where the herbivores and weaker predators are, where the herbivores are little more are chattel slaves. The lower ranking predators and omnivores are the peasant class, and the apex predators rule everything with a blood-covered iron fist. And we know how long those civilizations lasted, too. Not at all, in other words. The inventor of the weapon as a concept is the great equalizer. The idea of weak prey and strong predators, already is complete garbage. But it would have been dealt a death blow by the time the first caveman tied a rock to a stick and made a spear. Some lion decides he's going to go out and eat the rabbits who are living next door. He's going to come back with a spear shoved up where the sun don't shine. No meat today? No meat today. But everybody who does this, everybody who tries to do an anthropomorphic story, always goes to those classic tropes. Prejudice between predator and prey, and the two class, the two basic classics, classism between predator and prey, and the idea of human bigotry against anthropomorphics. It's old, it's tired, it's never going to get better. Well, it's more realistic. It's more realistic. No, it's not. It's tired. One of the things we're learning in the 21st century is that things cannot go on forever, especially stupid things. I always hated. I hate the comic strip Kevin and Kel. Kevin and Kel is another one of those. It's a furry comic. It's an anthropomorphic comic, but it's set in a world where predator, predation is still a thing. It's supposed to be cute and funny and parody and all the terms they come up with. It's supposed to be satire. No, it's not. It's just It's just vaguely horrifying. That's all it is. You remember the TV show Dinosaurs? Same idea. Had the dinosaurs stomping around eating smaller animals that were just as holding conversations with them before having them for lunch. That's just gruesome. Yeah, well, that's just your personal taste. Well, it's my personal taste. It also sucks. It also sucks all standing all alone by itself. Every idiot on the planet thinks they're being clever by introducing that as a plot theme. They're not. Big hint. Look, in a world where humans and anthropomorphic species, and humans and furries lived side by side, furries would not be a separate category. The reason that human beings stand as a separate category here and now in this world is because we're the only intelligent civilization building species. Can you dig it? We discovered fire, we built the wheel, we went to the moon. We sort of stand out among the species. In a world where humans and dogs and cats and zebras and panda bears and woolly armadillos and and all these other species were intelligent too, humanity would just be one of a dozen faces, one of 1,000 faces. And humanity would not necessarily be the one that had the corner market on prejudice. We would neither be, we would not necessarily be the number one racist bigots on the planet, nor would we be the number one target of prejudice from all the other races. Then which one would be the real most? It wouldn't be anybody. Everybody would be a little bit of an asshole. You know what I'm saying? There'd be some group over here that insisted only those with hooves were the greatest. And over here there'd be some other bunch of a-holes insisting that those with gills were the superior race. And, you know, you wouldn't see. Also, most of the cities, one of the things that they did seem to get pretty right on Zootopia is that the city didn't assume everybody was the same size. Everything was built so that it was accessible to all the species. There were waterways for the aquatic species. There were tubes for the rodents. There were big doors and small doors, different sized furniture, different sized vehicles. Somebody thought at least a couple of steps ahead. They realized, it would have been hilarious seeing Judy Hopps running around trying to deal with oversized cars and chairs that were too big, and and everything is just too large, and but then you're sitting there wondering, why is it that size in the first place? It's cheap comedy to have like a mouse and an elephant both trying to sit in a human-sized chair. But it makes no sense in the context of the story. No, there is nothing in it. Yeah, well, whether or not they're eating random civilizations constantly. All the black market meat is made from those who commit suicide and die of old age, blah, 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 blah. Look, you can't, if you can't get past cannibalism, you can't start a civilization, okay? There's a reason that the actual cannibalistic tribes we have found around the planet are all, we're all barbaric Stone Age civilizations at best. If your race cannot incorporate the concept that food that talks is not food, as a first step, then there is no bridge building possible between your tribe and all the other tribes on the planet. It would have to be, that would have to be the first law of civilization. Above and beyond thou shalt not kill. It would have to be, don't eat people. And we're talking, this is supposed to be, again, a 21st century civilization. If they hadn't gotten that concept back through, into, if they hadn't taken in that concept that the other is just as much a human being as if they haven't incorporated that taboo into their psychological makeup, into their psyche, at that point there's no way they could reach a 21st century level. One of the most probably they insist that it's there are only two. They insist that there are only two universally consistent taboos in every culture, in every race, tribe, nation, whatever. The taboo, against incest, and the taboo against cannibalism. Oh yes, I did get that art you sent me. That's interesting. It's really not how I pictured Bayleaf. I'll be honest. It was nice of you to send it. Uh, and yes, no, I have not seen Tokyo Ghoul. Rather, again, I know what it's about. The general concept is that a rare handful of people who first of all they develop superpowers, and then they the only thing they can eat is either coffee or human flesh. I wonder about I wonder what inspired the coffee thing. Can't help but wonder. And that's basically any if there was a predator species that still was preying on intelligent animals at the point that Beastars is at, or Zootopia, or Brand New Animal, any of those, or they would have been hunted into extinction or near extinction. They would have been wiped out. Because you see, first of all, herbivores and prey animals outnumber carnivores at least 100 to 1. If a rabbit stood up one day and said to his fellow rabbits, "This is a spear. You poke the pointy end into the wolf," that would be the end of the wolf. Intelligence is of all deterrents against predation. Armor, quills, uh, you know, venomous bites, claws, teeth. All the defenses against. Simply being an intelligent species makes you a very poor choice as prey. Because first of all, the more intelligent an animal is, the longer it takes to develop. This is why human beings take 20 years to reach full growth. And second of all, it makes us incredible. Think about it. You take a human being. This is why all those cheesy B movies about aliens preying upon human beings. It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook. The problem is that human beings are lousy meat animals. We're lousy meat animals. We have to eat a complex diet of fruits, vegetables, grains, and more. Just to stay healthy. And it takes us 20 years to go from a newborn who weighs about 5 pounds to 200 pounds hanging weight as an adult, and that's being generous. Whereas you take a cow goes from 20 pounds at birth to a quarter ton easy within a year or two on nothing but grass and oats. Also, the cow is a lot less likely to shoot you. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Mercy me. Excuse me. tried to take a drink of Pepsi and went down the wrong pipe. Oh. Pardon. Uh, Who am I? Anyway, like I was saying, humans or any other intelligent animal would make lousy prey animals. Oh, pardon. Ooh. Ripped right through me. There's. Now, in fact, in Beastars, they had one. I saw one clip, one still image taken from Beastars that summed up the whole problem with the Beastars scenario, in one click. The main, the one of the protagonists, the deer character. Some lion, was lunging at him, tried to take his head off, and the deer had pulled out a gun and had it pressed against had it stuck in the lion's mouth, and the lion was like, I have made a very bad decision today. If anything, you figure that as societies form and grow and evolve, prey species would be very adamant about the right to bear arms for a very obvious reason. In fact, they would probably have a very fanatical culture about it. I'm put in mind of the Gurkhas, the Sikhs. What is they wear the turbans. They wear turbans and Sikhs, I think they're called. I just want to look up there. I don't want to get it wrong. The Sikhs, it is a part of their religion that they carry a kirpan. It's a sword or dagger of any size or shape, mind. But it is required part of their religion. It's a religious commandment given by Guru Gobind Singh in 1699. Yeah. And if they accept it, they have to wear 5 articles of their faith at all times, one of them being a knife. There is a story. There's one of these school shootings. One of these sons of bitches, one of these Islamic sons of bitches tried to break in and kill a bunch of Jewish kids. Just breaking, the usual subhuman shittery. And among the people that died was this uh, elderly man. He was something like 80 years old. He was a Sikh. And because of the school regulations, he had been forced to replace his regular kirpan with a teeny tiny little ceremonial thing, maybe a couple inches long. And when they found his body, that knife was in his hand, and there was blood on it. Man, he had gone down fighting to protect the kids behind him. What can you say? But when my time, I hope I have the balls to be like that. But you got to figure that in a world like Beastars or even Zootopia, or it would be a religious sacrament for somebody like a rabbit to carry a weapon, and a serious weapon, at all times. Precisely because there would be predators out there who would refuse to give up predation. But you don't see that, Of course not. Nobody writes like that. Nobody thinks out the implications. Is what I'm saying. Is that they start with the premise. Okay, let's modern city. Everybody's an animal person. Let's have the foxes chasing around eating the rabbits. That's funny. It makes no damn sense, but let's do it anyway. Yeah. See. And the excuse that, they're only eating people who have gotten elderly or committed suicide. That ignores the fact that one of the main characters of Beastars is a kid who was raised as a food animal from birth on the black market. And the only reason he's alive is because somebody came along and bought him. Not because, they did a raid and rescued him. But because one of the guys, some rich guy who was idly passing through. So, hey, they got this kid labeled number 4 here with a side of fries. It's time for me to have an air, Yeah. I'll be doing that all night now. It's just arf, 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 arf. This is the reason I do the show, so I can come on here and complain to the empty air about things that bother me, and pretend I'm making worthwhile social commentary. I've said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 times. Uh, the the civilization of B-stars. They should not be sitting around, riding subway cars and sitting around in modern air-conditioned urban homes and clickety-clacking away on their latest Apple computer. Their civilization should barely comprehend what the wheel is. They should be the equivalent of an Aztec civilization with like the herbivores, the small, weak herbivores, as the chattel, the slave chattel and food stock. The large, dangerous herbivores as the peasant class. The mid-range, the middle tier predators as and the omnivores as middle upper class, and the apex predators as the ultimate rulers of everything. Worshipped as gods in a temple, perhaps even. There's your justification for sacrifice on a daily basis. I seriously suspect that biologically speaking, sapients cannibalizing each other would be self-destructive as well. You remember they found out that they call it cannibal sickness. Basically mad cow disease for humans. They found out that eating human flesh led to the accumulation of what did they call them? What are they called? Protease. Let me see. Cannibal sickness. Well, anyway, Kuru, prions. They found that eating human flesh, it passes, the prions. It's basically an infectious proteins that cross over from the brain tissue. It basically wrecks you. So I would suspect that if you had multiple species that were also intelligent, they would have reached a point where consuming the flesh of one another would have resulted in Kuru, is what the disease is called, due to the existence of the prions in the brain. This is just spitballing, but regardless, even with or without it, no. People who write furry fan fiction make little to no effort to create a to build, to world build and take all the factors into account. They want to write a story about furries, cute cuddly furries being persecuted by the mean old humans. Or if if they're really avant-garde, they write stories about the humans being persecuted by the mean old furries. But they never think about the fact that in such a world where there are dozens of intelligent races, human beings wouldn't particularly stick out. Also, you don't see them. They show them running around in perfectly normal human cities that absolutely give absolutely no account to the fact that the species have wildly different environmental needs. Now, that's one thing that Zootopia did. Is they had desert zone, tundra, and jungle and rainforest and so on and so forth. In one central hub where everybody came together. And I'm like, that is more accurate to what it would actually be like. Of course, the fact that they had it, instead of having it under a big dome, they had it open air, and I'm like, what the hell are they using for a power plant? They've got air conditioners blowing snow out into the open air. They'd need a score of nuclear reactors just to keep up with the power needs. Anyway. Would I do some gaming live? I've tried a couple of times, but I can't seem to get the setup to work. The graphics, the video drags, and I would have to set up. A what do they call this stupid thing again? One of the I can't remember. My brain is not working. I can't remember anything. I'd probably have to set up yet another. What is the name of it? Not pro. I'd probably have to set up a special channel on that, whatever it is that they do for gaming now. Why is it that everybody keeps changing horses in midstream? Why? Why do y'all keep switching horses in midstream? Tell me this. Because that's what you're doing. I remember when everybody was on the IRC servers, the chat rooms there. That was the only place you could go to find people. Then everybody switched over to this. Then everybody switched over to that. And then everybody switched over to all these different programs and shit. And it's all the same stuff. You don't get any new features. I would have to set up a Discord channel. That's what I'm thinking of. Couldn't think of it to save my life. I have no idea how to set up a Discord channel to play video games. Y'all jumping back and forth from social media platform to social media platform, and it's all the frickin' same. And I go to a little trouble. You would not believe all that I went to just to get an IRC channel for my comics. And now nobody's there. Oh, there are some names in there, but nobody has said a word in over a year. And I have poked and prodded and sent and bleeped and pinged and ponged and nobody's using it. They're just hogging bandwidth, keeping their names started like a fat man sitting in front of a fan. And you got people. You got to get yourself a Discord channel. You got to get yourself a Twitter. You got to get yourself a tweet and a toot and a twat and an app and an open and an orc and an eep hop orc. And you gotta get a Skype. You gotta get a Skype. You absolutely need to have a Skype. What the hell's a Skype? By the time I figure out what a Skype is, you've all moved on anyway. It's me in 100, I'm going to be 100 years old sitting around. You still use email? You don't beam it from the satellites directly into your brain? How do you play attachments? Pardon. But I needed to do that, and I wanted to do that, more importantly. I'm a caveman, I swear I am. If by some miracle my legs heal up and I wake up one morning and I've got normal human legs again, and I can go run out and dance in the fields, I'm going to be like some guy that they brought in off I'm going to be like I'm going to be like that guy that spent an entire movie talking to a soccer ball, Say hello to Winslow! I have no such. You go out there and you've been all alone by yourself for months on end, and then you don't realize that you're picking your nose in public. Did I do that? Yes, sir, and we don't appreciate the fact that you wiped it on my shirt. Yeah, I know what you mean. You see what I mean? By the time I got a Discord channel set up to play, to do, live games, this is me playing World of Warcraft. Nobody would be using Discord anymore. People have the attention span of gerbils. Turn that off. Just talk for a while. I tried to get some ice. Today. I called up a sandwich place and I ordered a sandwich and I said, could you throw in some bags of ice? Take some sandwich baggies, fill them up with ice from your ice machine. And they said, sure, no problem. And I'll wait for the sandwich and I'll wait for the ice and I'll wait for the sandwich and the ice. And then they come in, and then they arrive at the door. They've got my sandwich, they haven't got my ice. We're sorry, our ice machine has been out of order for months. You could have told me that before I bought the dang sandwich. But no. So I went on Amazon and ordered 2 18-cube ice trays. And I gotta wait for the ice trays to arrive so I can fill them up with water, sit them in, and wait some more. Getting extravagant in my spending. But I haven't had an ice cube tray in years. It used to be when I go out to the grocery store, one of the last things I get, a bag of ice. Just stick it up in the freezer. I'd last on that for a couple of weeks. Can't do that no more. Frickin' heavy. One of the things I got to do is I got to call. I don't know who to call for home repairs. Cheap bastard home repairs. And they're going to look at my roof and they're going to say, that'll cost us at least like $2,000 to fix. And I'm like, I ain't got it. And I've got $1,000 in the bank. Thanks to the IRS, to the government. Yeah, and I'm having to dip into it for like medicine and bandages and other need to gets, and holding on to that. And the more I think about this, I'm starting to get afraid of this place. I've got bags and bags of trash in here, and I need to get it out. And if I get out a couple of bags of trash a day, I'm accomplishing something. But the wiring, there are light switches here that do not work. They stopped working. I do not know why. I do not know, and I have no way to repair them. I don't know how to repair them. I couldn't afford an electrician. The water line's a jury rig. The gas is completely shut off, thank God. And I got holes in my floor and leaks in my roof. Huge wet spots, stains, water stains, all up the left side of the ceiling. The upper left back corner, left quadrant. There are places where the tiles are sagging from being damp from the rain. And I have no idea where. If I could, I would just hire somebody to roll out a big sheet of tin and nail it down on my roof. Screw it. Just to keep the water out. But I have no idea who to ask for that. I don't even know if I could afford the sheet of tin. How much is a sheet of tin the size of a trailer of a double wide trailer roof? I don't know. Oh yeah, Lei Ling. Yeah, she had trouble with her agent. The poor thing. Yeah, it was basically a justification for why she didn't immediately kick the ass of everybody in Lung's gang when they kidnapped her. Basically, because I like to say a World of Warcraft druid, has the power of nature. But a World of Warcraft shaman has the power of natural disasters. Yeah. And the idea being is that the agent accidentally gave Lei Ling amnesia, basically, and it was some time before she was recuperated. And Lei Ling in particular, she was originally the Empire 88 Cape Rune. She is a teenage Nazi who's had a rather eye-opening life experience. Yeah, I got $1,200 from the IRS from the relief aid thing check they sent out. So it's about down to 1,100 now. A little less, maybe. But this, try and find a handyman Dan. Somebody will do cheap uh, labor, even if it's nothing but spreading some more tar up on that roof. Something. I'm so tired, and I feel defeated already. Before I've even tried. There's roofing and housing and home repair companies that you can call, but you know, just getting an evaluation from them. Where do you get the notion that the agent's race still has feminists? Just because just because they have annoying females doesn't mean that they're feminists. That statement's going to get me in trouble. Of course, you say anything. You can say just about anything now and still get in trouble, no matter what you say. Ugh. I don't know where you get the idea that they have. Oh, you mean they have females? What makes you the idea that they're? What gives you the idea that they supposedly evolved past being having male and female? Why is that? Why is that perceived as being more enlightened? If anything, that's a regression to infancy. That's a regression to childhood. To pre-toddler level. When they're at that age, there's no boys and there is no girls. Yeah, when they're at that age, they'll pick up anything on the floor and stick it in their mouth too. There is no food and there is no not food. The lack of discretion isn't exactly a positive feature. What about Hemlock's trigger? I really don't understand what you're driving at. The idea that they're evolved past aggression. So basically, they're evolved past one of the necessary things for the survival of a species. Listen. Your survival chances aren't very high if When you're attacked by an angry saber-toothed tiger, your response is, "Oh, that's okay." Aggression and anger are not uh, automatically vices, despite what any particular green Muppet on Star Wars might have said. There are species out there in the world that do not feel fear or anger or aggression or love or passion. Actually, there are two kinds. One we call psychopaths, and the other we put in pots and water twice a week. They were trying to fruit her? I get the feeling we're having two entirely different conversations here, and one of them is in a foreign language. I really don't know what you're saying or what you're driving at or what you're asking about. Uh, uh, well, for one thing, your spelling isn't very clear, and I'm sorry, I don't understand. This has got to be an incredibly boring, one-sided telephone conversation to the rest of the audience. Uh, okay, say what you're wanting to ask. Take your time. Say it out completely. I'll give you a minute or two to type in your answer. We'll get back to it, okay? Just wait. Uh, Wedgie. Uh, yeah. By the way, that foam mattress I bought turned out to be a lot better than I expected. It was the reason they managed to get it in such a teeny tiny box is because they vacuum sealed it. They put it in a plastic baggie and sucked all the air out, and they had that 6-inch mattress. They sucked the air out. It was compressed down to like maybe an inch thick. I cut the plastic off and opened it, and it just sort of poof, swelled up, and now I've got a 6-inch single mattress sitting on top of my bed in my bedroom now. It's nice and comfy too. A little hard to get out of at some points, but it's nice and soft. Do the agents have feminists? No. No, they do not. Do they have sexes? Yes, they have genders. Male and female. Voila. It's a working system. Let's go with it. What caused Paige to trigger? What caused Paige to I'm trying to remember which one is Paige. Oh my, I've lost my mind. I've lost my mind and I've lost my memory. I can't find it anywhere. Check behind the sofa. I can't remember which one Paige is. Which one is Paige? I don't know. You're not going to tell me, are you? You're going to let me flounder there. You're just going to move on to the next question. Leave me hanging out in the breeze. Right? Alright, worm. Page. Canary. Bad canary. Well, that's got to be covered. Basically, she didn't trigger. One of the agents who hasn't got an actor yet heard about Paige, wandered off, found her, and made the offer, and is going to well, that's just it. Anyway, after Dragon rescued her, one of the agents contacted her and made the offer, and she accepted. Voila! And in the process, cluing Dragon in on the whole scenario, the whole Warcrafter scenario too. So things are going to get interesting. Basically, the agent offered to get rid of her screwed up power and give her a new one, a new power set. I'm sorry, man. Back's hurting. Back's always hurting. This is the best things have been for me for a long time, and I still feel ground down. Now, let's see. Anything worth noting in the news? In the news, nothing. Come on, computer, giddy up. Stuck. Hate it when it does that. Click on something and it sits there and looks at you. Doesn't even do the, you know. Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm just scanning through some bulletins that I've just received. Oh, new chapter update! Yay! It's a new chapter update to a fan fiction that I've been following. I am happy. Brief boost of endorphins. Yay! Sooner or later, somebody's going to come out with a pill. You know, endorphins in a bottle. You know. Just look, you know, boop, and away we go. You know, that's what all drugs are. That's what drugs really are. They're substitute endorphins, not endorphins. Well, endorphins and what are the other brain chemicals? You know, let's just go with brain chemicals. They're substitutes for the happy chemical that's supposed to be, that's supposed to be flowing in our brains and keeping us optimistic and active and moving forward and keeps us out of depression. But people get on drugs because it's the only way. It's like. I don't know of an analogy that people who are so naturally people who are depressed, people who are in depressed, dire circumstances, they resort to drugs to just basically to give their brain chemistry a kick in the ass and get it to roll forward a few more feet. That's what people don't understand. That's what people don't understand about addiction. They don't understand about junkies. The usual picture of addiction is that some nice boy gets addicted to a drug. Somebody gives him he injected one whole marijuana in a party and then he died. But seriously, the picture is that the nice boy gets given a drug by a friend or at a party, and the drug destroys his life. Right? The real picture is that their life is already shit on a shingle. Their life is already coming apart, and they take the drugs. They start taking drugs to try and cope with the misery and the pain. It's the exact opposite. The reality is the exact opposite of the picture that people portray it with. And the sad thing is, the best we can recommend for them is, go out and exercise, get some sunshine, get high on life, and their brains aren't cooperating. And your brains are still refusing to release, the happy chemicals. No matter what, I drank the splashy stuff, I ate the green things, I went out in the sunshine and did the walkie-walkie. Now release the happy chemicals, you stupid lump of gray muck, Oh, my parents are celebrating their gold anniversary. Their 50th anniversary. When is it? May 24th? No, not May 24th. When is it? They're having it June 5th. They're celebrating it. They're having an open-air picnic June 5th. So hooray for them, 50 years. I'm 49. Do the math. So... Silver is 25, gold is 50, diamond is 75 years marriage anniversary. Let's see here. I don't know what is everybody on the planet. Okay, I put this one little. At the end of the last chapter in Warcrafter, Riley Bonesaw. She basically, as far as anybody in that world knows, she died. She got her bioweapons went, the bioweapons got slashed open inside her body, and they went berserk and killed her. And at the same time, the healers had to. Well, basically, they had to, they sanitized her to death. Blasted her with a healing a column of healing light that just basically incinerated her. But off screen, the agents discorporated her, and and basically they were giving Riley a second chance because Riley Bonesaw was a victim in the end, because she was what, 8-9 years old when the Slaughterhouse when Jack Slash and the Slaughterhouse Nine found her. Jack Slash and the Slaughterhouse Nine basically tortured her into insanity. Took her. They took in order to get her to see the light. God only knows how that is supposed to be. Riley triggered with the ability to be the world's greatest biotechnician, and the Slaughterhouse Nine found her, and they maimed and they took her family and butchered them to the very edge of death, and left them in her mother, her father, her brother, even their family dog, each in a different room, and left Riley left Riley running from room to room, trying to patch them together again, trying to keep them alive. And every time she would go and save one, they would go behind her back and basically undo her work with a couple of stabs. And they kept her at it until she literally collapsed from exhaustion and couldn't go on. And the last thing she heard her mother say before she died was, "Be a good girl." And she snapped. She broke. Her mind just went like a pretzel stick. The only way that she could cope with the horror that her life had become is convincing herself that doing whatever Uncle Jack said, like a good little girl, was being a good girl. So they yanked her out of her body at the last second, and they gave her and the agents are giving her an opportunity to start over in some other universe where the sins and crimes she had been forced to do won't follow her. And the thing of it is at the end of they're asking her, they're asking this little girl, where would you like to go? And they said, "Do you like ponies?" And ever I have never regretted putting a sentence at the end of a chapter more than that, because every dead blasted person on the planet said, "Oh, Riley Bonesaw is going to be a character in one of his My Little Pony fan fictions." No, she's not. No. Hell no, actually. No. Like I didn't have enough crap that I'm working on already. Good grief. And I'm getting a lot of flack from people because, when are you going to have a Warlock character? Has hell frozen over yet? Now, I've gone over this point so many times. Look, gameplay to the contrary. No sane civilization would welcome, warlocks and or even warlocks and the undead and the Forsaken and the demon hunters into their ranks. Now, first of all, let's start with the warlocks. These are people who draw their powers from demons. And the demon hunters aren't any better. The demon hunters get their power by drinking demon bodily fluids and sucking up demonic energy. Stuff that canonically in World of Warcraft is toxic anathema to any living world. And no, we're going to war against the Legion, an army, an endless army of interdimensional demons. And you say you get your powers by summoning interdimensional demons. You know what? I think we can. I think we're good. No. And hell no, actually. In fact, guards! No, come on, people. Come on! I used to wonder how the heck, all those stories, all those folk tales about the devil coming down to Georgia or making a deal with some rube, and Daniel, the devil and Daniel Webster, and all those other folk tales about the devil making a deal with somebody. And I'm like, this is so stupid. I used to be like, this is so stupid. How dumb would you have to be? How dumb would you have to be to make a deal with somebody you knew right from the start was the devil? Because even if he doesn't screw you over, and in all the stories he screws everybody over, in the end, you lose everything. But now I look at these people, there are some dumbasses out there who would sell their immortal soul for a really cool band t-shirt in a Klondike bar. Get out of here! But the necromancers have all the cool powers. Just get away! And he's like, I had some smart ass, not too fond of the bad powers, good people trope, are you? Yes? No, this is not bad powers, good people. This is dumb people getting powers from evil people. Not exactly the same trope. Can you dig what I'm pointing out here? Precisely. She's not even, she's not necessarily, I wanted to, I was just making a joke, You like pony, you're a little girl, you like ponies, don't you? Yeah. But no. People are taking it too far. They're off to the races. They're all speculating on which My Little Pony character is actually Riley Bonesaw reincarnated. I'm like, shut up! Dopamine, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Dopamine and endorphins and stuff. If this keeps up, they're going to start selling dopamine shakes online or something. Happy in a cup. Whee! I'll tell you one thing for sure. Cola, no cola does not taste good. Cola has to be like ice cold. I mean frosty cold to taste good. At least to me, it has. If it gets even remotely tepid, it's like, bleh. I don't have the same problem with like lemon limey flavors. Like have you if you've a Monster Energy drink? I don't know what flavor it's supposed to be. Green. It tastes green. And I've noticed it can be room temperature lemon lime, and it still tastes fairly good to me. But cola, gerblurf. Ugh. Marco Polo. Marco Polo. Did I push the wrong button? No, the button's working. Just checking it. Marco Polo. I never played Marco Polo. I never got to a pool as a kid. Just endless miles of stuff I just did not get to do as a kid, kind of thing, Never had a treehouse. Never had a go-kart. Never, Never went to Disneyland. Never went to Disneyland, Disney World, none of them. Went to Kings Island a few times. Kings Island was fun. Kings Island and Six Flags. And where else? But, none of the Disney franchise got our money, It just never happened. Just too far away. Kings Island. Oh, my. It was a lovely day. Americana. I remember it used to be a park. Americana. I need to get some fly strips. Or some bug traps or something. I need to do so many things, and I'm not going to get any of them done. And then one day something's going to, I'm like some horrible thing is going to happen. I'm going to die, and when my house falls down or blows up or bursts into flame or something. Why didn't he ever fix this? This is how probably how I'm going to die. I'm going to be a bad example. Mm. It would take a platoon of men to get this house into reasonable shape. Clean it out to just patch the holes and shit. It would cost more than the trailer itself cost to get it fixed up right. And I have mountains of crap and that I would like to just throw away, and I can't. I can't even get it out the door. I'm gonna call those dumpster guys that I called last time and have them come in, clean my house out. They did a good job. They even swept a little. I promised myself, they got all that stuff out, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to let it get that way again, and here I am. Worse than I was before. Such is life. This is me, and I don't know what's. Some days I don't know what's going to happen to me, because I can't seem to get my crap together. Any news stories to look for? Ran out of stuff to read. Nothing that really stands out at the moment. I'll be truthful. Let's see if I think I saved the email from the trashy, cleany, uppy people. If nothing else, I need to get this trash out of here, and just. Come on, open. Typical. Gmail is not working right. That's what happens. You get these Googles. They take over the world, and now they don't have to. They don't think they have to do anything. Ah, here we go. D-Jog Junkin removal. Hey, alright. Even had a coupon for May 15th. Bummer. Oh well. Okay, well, at least I have their number. I can call them. Perfect. I've got the money. I've got the people to call. I got people I can trust to do the job. I can get this crap out of my house. And only at the cost of the social humiliation and shame of having somebody else see it. It's something. It's something. It will at least let me feel a little bit human again. I'm serious. This is me. This is me feeling like an animal. I feel like one of those Yeti. No, you're not upsetting me, Eli. You're not upsetting me. If I spend too much time getting into my own head, it's bad for me. I just get depressed real easy. If I'm really lucky, I might be able to get somebody to slap some tar on my roof at least. I don't know if tar will do any good at this point either, but I can hope. So okay, this is the options. These are the optimisms. If I'm being optimistic. I can call J Dog Junk Dog Services, and they will come in. They will bring their truck. They will bring their men. They will come in and they will carry these bags and bags and bags of trash, bags and bags and bags and boxes and boxes and boxes of trash out, and I will have not a clean house, but an empty one at least. And if I am lucky, I will find somebody. They won't. They do this general surveillance, and they will know somebody who will, take a couple $100 and slap down a couple of drums of tar on my roof, and or maybe even if I'm really lucky, they'll put down some shingles, tar paper shingles, or maybe even just a sheet of tin, something, or maybe that corrugated plastic green stuff you see, and I don't know. Let me see how much is let's see, corrugated tin. Union corrugated tin. It's $16 for a 8-foot by 3-foot, 2.6 roof panels. Corrugated roof panels, $16 at Lowe's. Okay. I have no. My trailer is like 10 foot wide, I think. Roof panel. Okay, yeah. $16. Let's say two. But I think I could afford it. I think I can afford to have tin corrugated tin nailed down over my roof. It's 15. It's like 15. 8 foot wide by 2 2 feet wide by 8 foot long. So I'll have to get out my paperwork and see how large my trailer is. But I think my trailer is 10 foot wide, which sort of makes that awkward. But if I could find somebody who'd be willing to climb up there and nail it down, maybe smear a little tar around the nail holes. Eight, 10, and 12. Okay, they got you know, they could get it. Okay, so I could just maybe afford to put some tin on my roof. Yeah, 10-foot corrugated galvanized steel utility gauge roof panel. 10-foot. I believe my trailer is 10 foot wide, if I'm remembering correctly. I really don't want to go lumbering over to try and find my deed just to look up that little piece of info. But hold on here. I've got it here. Certificate of live birth. It's not going to help me any. Okay, trailer. It's a 1971 trailer. Cost me $2,500. Gonna cost at least 10 times that much to get it into. Body type BH. Champion. It doesn't say the size. Son of a gun. Okay, it's so about $15 per panel. I have no idea how long my trailer is. Champion 10-foot BH. That ain't right. Frack. I'm trying to look up how big my trailer is. And I'm fairly certain it's not 10 feet, more than 10 feet wide. I'll look into it. It's possibilities. It'll suck up that $1,000 that I've got, but at least I'll have, at least I can stop worrying. I'll be able to stop worrying about my roof falling in. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, I got the stimulus check. That's what I'm talking about. It's sitting in my bank right now, and I've spent about a little over $100 of it already for odds and things I need, and also things I wanted. But a little bit, this, little of this, little of that. But it should be enough. I'll call the trash guys, and then I'll see about somebody who can either just okay. It is 9 p.m. and I've just basically been if you've been watching, you've been listening to me going in dead silence for the past 15 minutes at least, if not longer. Okay, I think it's time I stop the broadcast. So I'm going on. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support, especially those of you who have donated and pledged. I have, for those who like to support my continuing efforts to draw comics, write fan fiction, do broadcasts, and all those other things. Okay, my website is all four corners. Look at the four corners. I got the Gmail. My email is up in the left corner. rhjunior01@gmail.com. My web page is down at the bottom. www.rhjunior.com. That's my home page. That's where I got my comics, and you can check those out. I also have a Patreon. On my homepage, I have a PayPal button if you'd like to just drop something in the tin. Okay, I have a Patreon at www.patreon.com/rhjunior if you'd like to make a regular pledge, or if you'd just like to drop something in the hat. I have a Ko-Fi coffee cup at ko-fi.com/rhjunior. If you'd like to, I got my first Ko-Fi donation a while ago, and I'm all a Twitter. Hooray! So, don't just applaud, throw money. Yay! All right. I'm going to go now. I want to thank you all. Thank you all very much. I will probably be back tomorrow night with my aimless ramblings from a senile fool. I'll catch you then. Y'all take care of yourselves. You have yourselves a good night. All right? All right. Bye-bye.